Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our CentreCharge 2011 New Features Release webinar. So we've got a few of you on the line today. This webinar is going to go through the new features in 2011, ready for when the release is actually due to come out. If you look on the right-hand side of your screen, where the GoToWebinar screen is, you will see that you have the ability to raise your hand in order to ask a question, and you can also type in a question as well, which we will be able to see and answer. You are actually, all of you are actually on mute, so if you do have a question and you do raise your hand, we will unmute you so that you can ask your question, which will be heard by everybody. If you don't want everybody to hear your question, you can type it in and we will just answer it for you. Can you all raise your hand so that I can see that you've actually understood that? Can everybody raise their hand for me? Brilliant. I can see some of you have done it. Ah, brilliant, you've all done it. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So this webinar will take about an hour, so an hour of long, hard listening. And can you take down your hands for me? So you just click it again. Martin and Victoria, could you take your hands down, please? Unless you do have a question. Ah, brilliant. No, you don't have a question. Okay. So yeah, this webinar will take about an hour. So ready for you guys to go to lunch afterwards. You can get the release notes. So everything that's going to be covered today is available for you to download from the website. If you go to RJMS's website, and you can see here, if you just pop in a username and password, so I'm just going to log in as you will see before you hit the connect button there is a latest release notes. So if you click on here and scroll down, you've got versions 7.1 and 7.2 where you can actually download the release notes in a PDF for you to print out. So they are available to you. We are actually going to spend more time going through the August release notes, so 7.2 is what we're focusing on today, but if you do want to print out 7.1, then you are able to do so. Okay, so going back into CentreCharge, the release will be available on Monday the 10th of October, so that's when our release date is. If you're an on-demand customer, you'll be upgraded automatically, so it'll be ready for you when you log in on Monday the 10th. If you're offline and want to upgrade to the latest version, do let us know and we can schedule in an upgrade date for you. If you're on CentreCharge 5, then you will need to have a physical upgrade, so do contact support@rjmss.com to organise your upgrade to CentreCharge 2011. Okay, so that's the sort of admin work of it done. So the first thing you'll notice, the first thing we'll go through is the new look and feel of CentreCharge. You can see that CentreCharge has now gone blue, like Office 2007. Nothing's changed with the layout, just the colour, the background colour has been changed. You can amend this yourself should you want to. If you go into Window, Style, then you can have it at a different style. So for instance, if you wanted to have it as a system colour, so you could have it as grey, then you can change that. And then simply change it back, go back to Style, and then select the colour that you want it to be. So that's the first thing you'll notice when you're logging into CentreCharge 2011. The next is in Accounts. You now have the ability to merge accounts within CentreCharge. So if you accidentally create a duplicate account or something like that, you can merge the accounts together. Point to note here is they do have to be at the same site. You cannot merge two accounts that are at different sites. Okay, so just to show you how to merge an account, I'm just going to select two accounts here. And then, so I've selected my two accounts, Rachel Enterprises and Molly Enterprise. If you click on the Merge Accounts button, it will prompt you to, are you sure? So click on Yes. And then from here, what you can do is you can select the master account, so the name and the account ID that you want to still be in the system. The other account will actually disappear from the system because it's obviously been merged. So I'm going to choose Molly Enterprise as the master account and click on OK. you'll see then that the other one has disappeared and you're just left with Molly Enterprise. If you go in here, every bit of information that was on the account will all show under Molly Enterprise. So all tasks and notes, all licenses, all opportunities, etc. will all show within this new merged account. The other one has gone from the system, so you will no longer be able to find that account. Payment history also, so any invoices, credit notes, payments received, everything like that, again, all merged into the new account. So nothing will be lost. The button to merge accounts is controlled within the user access level. So if you don't want everybody to, obviously you wouldn't want everybody to have that ability to merge accounts, you can control that within the user access levels. So you can take it off for the relevant users and put it on for the admin users, which is going to probably be you guys. So that is how to merge accounts. There is the ability also within the new release to group accounts together. So this is a really good option to have if you're going to have an online portal, as it were. So if you have multiple accounts that are really one customer, but they have multiple different billing accounts, you can group them all together so that the one billing contact can log in and pay all relevant invoices or things like that. So, okay, so to turn on the group account function, if you go to Configuration, Preferences, Online Billing, and then there's an option here to enable group accounts. So tick that, click on Apply and OK to apply those changes. Then if you go to Configuration, you'll see now that there is a new section called Group Accounts, which has been enabled. From here, you can create a new group to merge to group all those accounts. So, for example, let's put Test Group in here. And then obviously to assign an account to the group, go into Accounts. I'm going to use Foundry Enterprises. And then what you can see here is that you have the option under Email to group the account. For instance, this one isn't a group at the moment, so if you click there, you can select here which group you want them to be a part of. So in this instance, your Test Group account. Save and close that, and then that account, Foundry Enterprises, is now grouped into that account Test Group. So for example, if they have one billing contact for in each account, then when they log on to sort of the online portal, as it were, that one, when you log in with that one login, they'll be able to see all invoices for all companies under that group account. Okay. Next section is licenses. Now there's quite a few changes and enhancements within the licenses module. So if I'm going to close those down. So if we go into licenses, you have the ability now to turn on a surety function, which is exactly the same as having a guarantor. So if you need a guarantor for your license, you can now fill this in when the license is in the draft stage. To turn that on, go to Configuration, Preferences, and then go to Licenses, and you can see here there's the option to turn on surety. Simply tick that, click Apply, and OK. Then while it's in the draft license, I'm going to create a walk-in here just so you can see the surety when you'd obviously fill out all this information as you would normally, working your way through here. Then you will see down here do you require surety for this license? Now obviously if you don't, then you can leave that unticked, but if you do need surety for this license, if you tick that option, what will happen here is that you will get the fields to fill in for that surety, for that guarantor, as it were, which will then be stored within the activated license. And also these fields are available for you. The surety query is available for you in the report writer as well. So should you need to report on those, that is available for you as well. Okay. So I'm just going to close that down. Also, another really good enhancement within the latest release is the ability to be able to transfer licenses between sites. So I know this is obviously this can happen quite frequently for clients that have more than one site. So what you can do, if you go again back to configuration and preferences, under licenses again, you have the ability to transfer licenses between sites. So you need to make sure that is ticked in order to be able to transfer a license to a different site. So again, tick that, click on apply and OK. Then, for example, I'm just going to take an activated license. Click on transfer license as you would normally. Are you sure? Yes. And you will see here a new window pops up saying the date that you would like the new license to start from. Also, before you select the date, you can select the site that you want the new license to be transferred to. Obviously, if it's the same site transfer, then you just leave the site as it is. But if it is a transfer across sites, then you need to make sure that you select the new site, the date, obviously, and then, again, the reason for transfer. Click on OK, which will then load the new draft license for the new site on the screen. Okay, so you can see now that the building has changed within the draft license from the Grand Tower to the Innovation Centre. And if you scroll down, you'll notice that there won't be any room or rent because the room that they're at the Grand Tower is obviously not going to be at the Innovation Centre. So you will need to add a new room and assign the correct contract services to the new license agreement. And then from then, once you've selected the room and the correct contract services, it's the same procedure where you preview and issue the document before activating it. Obviously, if you've invoiced the old license agreement, so the one at the Grand Tower up until the 31st of October, for instance, and we've done the transfer as of the 13th of September to go to the new site, when you activate the new license, a credit note will be generated against the old account at the Grand Tower. So you will have two accounts, one at the Grand Tower, and then you'll have another account at the Innovation Centre, and the credit note will then be raised against this site at the Grand Tower so that their accounts are all up to date. And it's a brilliant opportunity to use the group account function so that obviously they can then access all their credit notes and invoices for both locations. Okay, next enhancement within the licenses module is the ability to actually insert a scanned document, a scanned license agreement. So if you see you've got your license agreement open here, you've got a new tab called License Agreement, and you can see here you can attach a scanned document. So click on this scanned. Obviously, inserting a scanned document is good so that everybody can see that they've got a signed copy of the agreement, and also if you wanted to reprint it for any reason, it saves you rummaging around through filing cabinets, and also saves trees. So you can then simply find the document that you want to attach onto the agreement. I'm just going to choose this one, and then click on Open, and you will see here that you have your. This is the letter. But obviously, you'll have your real agreement. You can view that. You can zoom it in, rotate it, flip it, do whatever you need to do to that agreement, and then you can click on Save, and then that document will be saved to that license agreement. And then if you just open it back up, you can see there that your license agreement has been saved onto your actual activated license. Okay. So and the last thing we're going to cover within licenses is the ability to add a referral as a lead source for your license agreement. So if we were to go, if we click on Walk-in just to show a draft license agreement again, obviously you'd fill in these details as normal. But if you go to lead source, click on Find, you can see you've got the added ability to select an account or contact. So if they've referred you, then you can mark them on there. So for example, if you do a search for, so I'm just going to go for M here, and you'll see that you can select any contact name or account with the letter M, which has referred you to this potential customer. Simply click on OK, and then you'll see the lead source is now Molly Enterprise. This is good. This will, so if you run referral schemes, then this option is good, because then you can run reports to see how, which to track your which customers have referred you, if you're going to offer those discounts or whatever you're going to offer them. So good for reporting on, and if you do offer referral schemes. So that's how to add a referral to a lead source. So that was it in the licenses. We're going to go on to point of sale now. I noticed, actually, just having a look, we haven't had any questions. Does anybody have any questions? Do raise your hand or type in a question, and now's the time to do it. Any questions on licenses? No? No questions. Obviously, I'm doing really well at this. Okay, so moving on to point of sale. There's just a couple of new features within the point of sale. You've now got the ability to change the size of this font on the front screen of the point of sale, or you can change this. If you have eyesight as bad as Justin and you need it magnified, that's 10 times, and you have the ability to do that. So if you change the size of it, and you can also change the font if you don't want Arial, close it down and just reopen the point of sale to refresh it, and then you can see there you have the new sized font within the point of sale. Also, the last function within the point of sale is the ability to find as well. So if you wanted to quickly find a client rather than having to scroll down or whatever, you can click on the Find button, enter the search string. So I'm going to search DAC on this one. Click on OK, and then that will automatically load Decorum. And then from then on, you can just select the company, select the employee as you would normally. So that's point of sale. Any questions on the point of sale? No? Brilliant. Moving on, we're going to cover the sales ledger. Now, within the sales ledger, you can, if I click on the sales ledger, you can see that there's now a credit limit column, which in some cases you will see will match the amount of deposits that is which you hold for the client. You have the ability now within the system to set the credit limit to be the amount of deposit that you're holding for the client. To turn that on, if you go to Configuration, Preferences, General Settings, and then you can see, if you scroll down, credit limit is also set to deposit. So that means if you're holding a deposit for a client of £5,000, then the credit limit will also be £5,000. So tick that, click on Apply and OK, and you'll see here you've got the credit limit column here, so you can view that at a glance when you click into the sales ledger. And if you open up a client's account, then you can see they also have a credit limit field here as well. And you can see, again, this matches the amount of deposit that that client is currently holding. There also is the ability to add a deposit function. So you can see there's a new button been added here. Now this function is only really to be used if the deposit within CentreCharge doesn't actually match what you're holding for the client. So if you need to make any amendments, then you can do it this way. It won't raise a credit note, it won't raise an invoice, it just simply updates the record in sales ledger. So it's just an adjustment in the sales ledger only. Just click on the Add Deposit. Obviously the account will be the account they're in, so Molly Enterprise here. Deposit item, deposit, so if you can select, if you have multiple deposit items, for room deposit, virtual deposit, fob deposit, something like that, then they will all appear within this drop down. We've only got one here, so we'll just keep it as deposit. Select the date of the transaction. Obviously it will default to today's date, but if it happened 6 months ago, then you can backdate it. Reference, retainer, or any reference that you want to put within there. And then a payment type, so how they paid for this deposit. So bank transfer, cash, check, and you can select or if you wanted to offset it, you can offset it there as well. Then you just simply enter the amount. So it could be, say for instance, I'm going to say 600, so it'd be £600. Click on OK. And then you'll see here that our credit limit was 2,400. It now matched our deposit of £3,000. So you can see it just updated the sales ledger. No invoice or credit was produced. Any questions on the sales ledger? Oh, one. Martin. Okay, Martin, I'm just going to unmute you so that you can ask your question.
Hello.
Hi, Martin.
Right, hi, Lauren. Hi. Just a quick question on the on that credit limit and stroke deposit thing. Is if the sales ledger exceeds that amount or gets up to the credit limit, is there anything that comes up and warns you of that at all?
No, there isn't at the moment. There isn't a warning, as it were. It's just a
something that's quite a good idea. If there could be like a, you know, a warning.
Yeah, no, at the moment, that's a good question. That if the credit limit was to exceed the deposit, would there be a warning? Unfortunately, there's not at the moment. It is just for information purposes only.
Right.
Just so that when you were to open the account at a glance, you can see that the credit limit exceeds the deposit or matches it. Possibly something to look into in the future.
Okay, Lauren. Yep.
But if you run the financial exposure report, you so I'm just trying to find it. It's under sales ledger report. If you run the exposure report for 120 days, for example, and you wanted to see, then you will be able to see here.
Okay. Yeah.
That you can see there. That will give you that information. It won't prompt anything within the system. It's just information that if you run that report, then you'll be able to see that.
Right. Okay, Lauren.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much.
Martin. Okay, brilliant. So thanks, Martin, for that question. Good question. Okay. Next one we're going to cover is the bill run. Now, there is just a simple change to the bill run. If you go to Invoices, Bill Run, I'm just going to select all sites for this case. You can see that the bill run wizard is longer. And then if you just click through, I'm just going to keep all those the same. I need to select. Okay, you'll see here that you've got, before, rather than just having the client name, you've also got the client name, the item that they're billing for, and then the period in which they're billing for as well. That's the same for the contract services and the rent. So you can see you've just got ABCN, which has got quite a few that need to be billed, but obviously not up to date with their billing. And then you can see here you've got Julia and Lorraine Enterprise as well. So each client will show exactly what they're going to bill for. Again, same for the rent. So if you change the rent, again, you'll just see you've got the various different clients down the side, the items that you're going to bill for, and then the time period which you're billing for as well. So if you've got multiple services and multiple rooms and things like that, you can see exactly which ones are going to be billed and which ones aren't. So it's just more information on that for you. Okay, the next item we're going to cover is tasks. Now there is a couple of enhancements within the tasks function in CentreCharge. Currently, if I open up an account and show you, currently you just have tasks and notes as one tab within the account. So any tasks, notes, sort of viewings, anything like that is all stored under that one tab. In the new release, you can split those tabs out. So you can have one for notes and emails, another one for tasks, so calls or reminders, and then you can have a third one for viewings. So if I often with the sales users especially, they find it easier to have everything separate, so they know exactly what viewings they've got, exactly what calls they've got, and they're not all muddled up. They're all separate, and they can keep a better eye on their tasks. So if you go to Configuration and Preferences, go to General Settings. Under Tasks, you have the option to separate tasks, notes, and viewings. So if we click on that, want to get apply and OK. Save and close that and reopen it. I'm going to go back into Molly Enterprise again. And you can see now you've got notes and emails, tasks, so any calls or renewal meetings or anything like that. And also you've got viewings as well. So that's been split out for you. Okay, another function within tasks that we've improved on is if you open up a task, you now have. I'm going to go into. If I go into Foundry Enterprises. I'm going to go into this. Go into a new task for Foundry Enterprises. Pretty much the same on here, other than if you've got the account, which obviously would default to Foundry Enterprises, you can now select a contact for the task. So, for instance, I'm going to select James Smith, and you can see that that's pulled through his email address because that email address is set within his contact account in CentreCharge. So if you've got a telephone number and an email address set up against your contacts, then this information will be pulled through onto the task for you. Yeah, so obviously for those like sales guys and things like that, when they actually open up those tasks, rather than having to find the contact and the contact information, that would just all be loaded on the screen, so it saves time rather than having to look around for the telephone number and their email address. You can also see down the bottom there is a new button called Complete Task and Create New. That does exactly what it says. So what that will do is, say for instance, we want to complete this task. We've spoken to James Smith and we want to create a new task, give him a call back in a week or so. You can click on Complete Task and Create New. What that will do is that you've got to see here that you've got your new task here, but your old task is marked as completed in the task section of the account, and then you've got a blank task that you can fill out and schedule in. And if I just show OK on that, so you can see now that you've got your completed task and then your new task, which is not started. That's your new task. Okay, so that's tasks done. The next one we're going to cover is documents. So if we go to Configuration and Documents, go to New Document, choose a blank document, select the name, so I don't know, let's do webinar document. Click on OK, and then select the document. And what we've done in the documents is we've added some new function fields and new merge fields within the documents to do with the license agreement. So if you go into Insert Function, you'll have a few more functions, as it were. So, for example, currency to words, if you were to select this function onto your document, it will load this field. Now, it will say currency to words, and where it says Insert Field Name, you'll need to highlight this, and then you'll need to tell the function what it needs to convert into words, as it were. So if you select, so if you highlight Insert Field Name, and then you go into Insert License, so you're pulling through a license merge field, then you can see here, you can say if you wanted to, say you're holding some deposit and you wanted to put that into your document, then you select deposit held, and then that when you actually load that document from a license agreement, from an account or something like that, then it will say the deposit held as £3,000 and 0 pence rather than 3000. So that's quite a handy new function for creating your document. Licenses, load a new merge fields for your licenses, so you can pull through your surety information, your rental information, your virtual information, and service information. All of these merge fields are actually documented in the release notes. So if you download those 7.2 release notes, all of those merge fields are actually documented within there rather than me going through every single one of them with you. But they're all in there. And obviously, any questions that you've got to let us know. But there are loads of new fields in there. So if you like creating documents, then that's even better for you guys. So do have a look at those merge fields within the 7.2 release notes. Okay, so that's documents. So do have a look at those merge fields. The next one is report writer. So if we go on to the report, I'm going to just close my document down. And if we go to report writer, so reports, custom reports, report editor. Okay, so there's a few new features within the report writer, a load of enhancements on the queries and things you're able to report on. So if we click on new custom report, you can select, obviously you've got the various different queries, so you've got a load of queries within accounts. I'm going to go for, let's have a look, and do a license report. And then from here you can see license, you've got different queries within the license report. So I'm going to, for instance, go for license and items. You've got still the same, you can select in tabular, summary or matrix report. I'm just going to select the tabular one for this demonstration. And you can see here you've got a lot of different fields to be able to report on. So new buttons along here, you can collapse all of the columns, so you can, rather than having to scroll down, if you knew exactly where you wanted where your field was, you can collapse all the stuff, all the headings, and just minimize. So you can just minimize those as well. If you wanted to expand them all, you can expand them all as well. And you can also, if you knew the name of the field that you wanted to report on, say for instance deposit, if you type deposit in within the search box here and click on find, then this will expand where all of the deposit. So any field with the word deposit in will appear within this screen for you to be able to select and report on. So if you wanted to select every single field, then you can do that, or if you wanted to deselect them all, then you can use those buttons as well. So they're there for you. Clicking on next, nothing's changed here. Nothing. You can, if you're creating a report and you just want the users to be able to report on the sites that they only have access to, then you can select that option for you. So you can select that option as well, because obviously you wouldn't want all users to be able to see every single site, so you can do that as well. So if we run the report, there's probably, so I'm going to change that to start date, so accounts financial, and I'm going to change that to that. Okay, so you can see I've just run a basic report here just to show you. If we go and save the report, you have a new button here called Save as New. So if you if you had a report in the report writer which you wanted to basically copy, then you can save as new. So what that will do is that will just save a brand new copy of that report, as it were, for you to be able to rename it and customize it as you wanted to. So that Save as New button is there for you as well. Always handy if you want to just copy reports. You don't have to start from scratch. So if I'm just going to save new report, so I'm just going to save that, and then I'm going to search for my new report. And I'm going to double click on that and just open that back up, so I'm going to run it again. And what you can also do is you can email the report straight from the report writer. So rather than having to print to Excel and then saving it to your desktop or things like that, if you wanted to just email it straight away, you can click on email. And what that will do is that will export the report and then load it as an Excel attachment onto your email. So you can see that it's loaded my new report as an Excel attachment, so then you should be able to email straight off to yourself or whoever needs to see that report. Okay, so that was really all the new features that are available in CentreCharge today. Have anybody got any questions on anything we've covered at all? No. Okay. Yeah, so just to recap, obviously we've got all those new features for you, which are available to download from the website under the latest release notes section. What we mainly focused on today was version 7.2, which has got all the information on merging accounts, inserting the scanned document, and all those new merge fields within the document. So do download those, print them out, and have a look at them, ready for your release. Like I said, the release date is set for the 10th of October. On-demand customers will, so anyone using CentreCharge through our servers, through the RJ Metis website, will be upgraded automatically. And those of you that host CentreCharge on your own servers, do contact us. Give us an email at support@rjmetis.com, and we can schedule that in for you. This webinar has actually been recorded and will be posted onto YouTube for you to be able to refer back to at any point. So if you just typed in CentreCharge within YouTube, then you'll be able to find this video for you and your colleagues, anybody who either attended or didn't attend this webinar. This will be available for you on YouTube to view as well. So that was really it for today. Hopefully you found this helpful, and look forward to hearing from you and scheduling in these upgrades as soon as possible. If you have any questions after today, do email support. Oh, we do have a question that's just come through. Oh, thank you, Martin. Brilliant. Well, as I say, any questions, and do email us at support@rjmetis.com. And have a lovely afternoon.